Have you noticed that after your yoga practice, you feel different? Not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally in a way that's kind of hard to explain. It's like parts of you have settled down, parts of you that you didn't even know needed to settle down or needed to exhale. And it's this feeling of spaciousness and openness and relaxation that happens. I remember for me walking out of my first yoga class ever, I literally felt like I was floating. I was like, "Oh, people are walking around feeling like this? This is a possibility?" And so what I want you to know is that the way that you feel at the end of your yoga practice and that thing that keeps bringing you back to your yoga practice, that benefit, is multi-layered. There's so much different beautiful healing and therapeutic benefits that are coming together, but a lot of it actually has to do with your nervous system. And so in this video, I want to talk to you about how yoga impacts your nervous system, but not from this like really clinical, scientific, heady, clunky science-based approach, more just like everyday language, a couple of women sitting across from each other and learning more about these topics. And so first, let's talk a little bit about what your nervous system actually is so you have a little bit of baseline. So, in a nutshell, your nervous system has a lot of nuance going on. There are different branches of the nervous system, there are different states of the nervous system, but ultimately, your nervous system, what we're talking about here is the autonomic nervous system and the parasympathetic, the sympathetic, and the enteric. And so these are operating systems that exist inside of you to keep you safe. They are based on past experiences and present moment ones as well. So you have these patterns of how your nervous system responds based on past experiences because it wants to use the pathway of least resistance to keep you safe and thriving. And it's responding in real time to what is happening and how it perceives that. And so your nervous system's always operating behind the scenes and it's activating these different states based on all of that information that it's taking in without you necessarily consciously thinking about it. And so some of these different states are fight or flight. Oftentimes you'll hear this talked about in mainstream media. And obviously, fight is like, I'm feeling more activated and I want to be, maybe I'm feeling angry. Maybe I want to like move towards something. I want to do something about it. Maybe I'm feeling like I need to do all the things and nobody's going to come and help me. I'm feeling angry and irritated about something. I'm feeling like my arms are really active. This can be fight. And then flight could be, I'm so anxious and overwhelmed. I want to get away from this situation. I literally want to run away from this situation. I want to hide. I want to avoid. Flight can show up like that. And so that you can think about more as sympathetic response in your nervous system. And then we have your parasympathetic nervous system. And you'll oftentimes hear this one called the rest and digest state. And so what people are really talking about when they say rest and digest is the window of tolerance. And the window of tolerance is more a state where you have access to the full range of your being. Maybe you feel more open, present, connected. You can feel both joy and sadness. You can feel a balance of doing and slowing down. You'll feel a little bit of a harmonious balance when you're in the window of tolerance. And then there's also another parasympathetic state of your nervous system called fawn and freeze. And so fawn is more this external looking out at what people around you are wanting and needing and what you think they want and need, and then showing up and kind of modifying who you are in that moment in order to be that for those people. And freeze is more, again, that like looking outward, but it's really like a shutting down kind of mode. You might feel immobilized, you might feel frozen, you might feel numb in a way where you can't take action. Disclaimer. This may sound very black and white. It is nuanced, and I want to be honest with you that it's nuanced. But I want to give you that baseline of understanding so that you can see yourself in how your nervous system might be showing up. Because one of like the real truths here is that yoga is impacting your nervous system, especially if you're practicing the right kind of yoga to impact your nervous system in a positive way. And here's how it's doing it. So your nervous system has this full range of what's possible. And that's beautiful. That's actually what we want. We want you to be able to go in between all of those states and move through them with ease and not get stuck or bogged down in any particular one as your baseline or your default state. And so, how yoga impacts your nervous system is it actually moves you in and out of all of these different states in your nervous system. It takes you into the full range, and that is a great thing. So, longer holds, more activating or dynamic practices, they're definitely speaking the language of your sympathetic nervous system. Big heart openers, big back bends, definitely speaking the language of your sympathetic nervous system. Then you have yoga practices that are very down regulating. For example, just emphasizing your exhale is very much going to speak the language of your parasympathetic nervous system. Poses that fold you inward can also speak this language. Poses that relax you and rest you can also speak this language of helping your parasympathetic nervous system be the one that's predominantly ruling the show. And then in the middle of all of this communication between these different states, you have a whole separate part going on. And that's your enteric nervous system. And I'm literally pointing down towards my gut because that's where it is. Your enteric nervous system lives down in your digestive area. And a lot of times this is called the second brain. So we're also working with that part of you. We're working with vagal tone, the vagus nerve, which is a cranial nerve that moves down and innervates all the way through. We are working on nervous system medicine every time we practice yoga. And we are activating all of these different parts of your nervous system so that it learns how to move between those states with more relative ease. And that, my friend, that is actually the simplest and most powerful way to start thinking about how yoga is impacting your nervous system. Okay, it's actually teaching my nervous system how to move between all these different states with ease. It's broadening my capacity for all of these states so that I don't spend all of my time stuck in one, but I can really be in that place of the window of tolerance sometimes. I can go into fawn sometimes, I can go into freeze, I can be in fight, I can be in flight, I can be in all of them. And so part of what I want you to walk away from this conversation with is the knowing that a regulated nervous system is a nervous system that does it all and also has plenty of room for the window of tolerance. In the window of tolerance, you have more room to be creative and to problem solve and to think about things with a fresh perspective. And something I'm really interested in for you, have a lot more room to enjoy the fuck out of your life when you're there, to not stress so much, to appreciate and be actually able to let in the good things that you want to do, to experience pleasure and joy and connection in a way that just feels so good and is the whole freaking point of doing all this healing work and mental health work and yoga in general. If you ask me, we are making more room for that in there. Okay, but not all yoga is going to do this for your nervous system. There are ways of approaching a yoga practice that will exacerbate your nervous system responses that you don't want to. And you might even gravitate towards those styles unknowingly when they're actually making it worse. And there are ways of practicing yoga therapeutically that are going to have this positive impact on your nervous system and do this nervous system medicine that I'm talking about that actually shifts what your nervous system has the capacity to hold, rewires how your nervous system responds, and opens up so much more space. So, short list, the ones that are going to aggravate your nervous system, the ones that are not going to be supportive to give you the medicine of what I'm talking about here, are fast-paced yoga practices where you don't hold postures, you don't rest, you don't breathe slowly, you're just moving, 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 moving. Honestly, this isn't actually even yoga. They're calling it yoga, but it's really just glorified exercise. It's totally not going to do it for you, love, and it might just irritate your nervous system that's already irritated and having a hard time moving between these states. So gravitate towards styles that are going to be slower, that are going to give you time to breathe and tune into your body and your innermost self, that are going to allow you to hold poses, that are going to incorporate aspects of rest and longer rest, longer shavasana, relaxation, that are going to incorporate more contemplative practices, maybe some chanting, some wide range yoga medicine and yoga therapeutic benefits. These are the ones that are going to have the biggest impact on the state of your nervous system and positively influence it over time. So, somatic yoga in particular is a style that I would recommend to you because somatic yoga incorporates body wisdom, it incorporates nervous system medicine, and it incorporates mental health themes. And this is what I do inside of the Nourished Woman. All of the different yoga practices that you practice with me are somatic yoga therapy. So it's weaving in these different worlds. They're more intentionally designed based on this topic. But you could also gravitate towards a gentle yoga practice, a slow vinyasa yoga practice, or a restorative yoga practice. Any of the practices that are going to incorporate giving you that room to breathe and be. And if you've practiced restorative yoga and felt like it was hard, I have some videos on my channel that I'll link down in the show notes that will help you to understand why. And I will say that restorative yoga can be just focused on your parasympathetic nervous system. So you want to make sure you're practicing restorative yoga with somebody that incorporates some things that are going to help your nervous system get both the gas pedal and the brake stimulated so you can find ease and release. If you want to practice somatic yoga with me, the easiest way to do that is to grab the free practice down in the description of this video. It's called Come Home to Your Body. It's delivered right to your email and you can practice with it instantly. And it is a 10-minute practice where you can just taste and experience this. The best way to get this with me is to join me inside the Nourished Woman Sanctuary. It is my online yoga studio for self-aware women who want to incorporate yoga therapy, somatic yoga therapy specifically, and mental health practices. And it is comprised of 15 to 30 minute yoga practice videos that are based on the state that your nervous system is in right now and matches you with a therapeutic library that incorporates all of these different things that I'm talking about here, but it also incorporates not just like movement based or asana based yoga practices. It incorporates breath work and chanting and meditation and inner work that works on these different states as well. And you can find out more about that down in the show notes. It is easy to join and easy to cancel, and you can start practicing with me in there today. I'll see you in the next video, love. And I have a video just on nervous system dysregulation if you want to learn more about that. Bye for now.